Let's wait for a couple of minutes more if you want. Just before starting the meeting, could you please, guys, mention in the chat your specialization, your major, so I will know what kind of suggestions I can give during the presentation. Okay, one petroleum engineering. Okay, as I understand, most of you are petroleum engineers and only one geophysics and one in mechanical engineering. So no geologists here, right? Okay, I guess we can start then. Let me just share my screen. Okay, so welcome again to this presentation here. My name is Orxan Mammadov, by the way. Here I'm going to talk about what you can do further in your master studies if you are choose to go to China or any other Asian or abroad overall. I will give just more intro of what you need, and unfortunately there are not much geologists, so I'm gonna skip one of the slides because I'm majoring in geology, so most of the stuff here I mentioned will be related to geology, but I will try to briefly explain what we have for petroleum engineers. By the way, it's a really good choice to go to this university. You can see on the screen, it's China University of Petroleum. In 2017, I guess, it got first place in petroleum engineering in the world between the universities. So we start with the contents. First, I will give a brief introduction about myself, just so you'll be confident to talk to me and ask the relevant questions if you need to. And I will give what you need to have during the, if you want to apply for further studies. I will give intro also for research directions that you can go for, but this part is mostly related to geologists, so I will give it in another way. I'll talk about skills in demand and my study experience as well, with some random pictures from China at the end of this presentation. So shortly, I have graduated from Baku State University doing my geology in there. And then I went to military and came back and went to China. During bachelor, I've been working at National Academy of Sciences. Then worked as a researcher in China University of Petroleum. Nowadays, I'm doing my research in Digital Research Lab at Baku State University and eiLink Research and Development Center. I think you probably already know about the last one. And as well, I've done some internships in companies like the international mining companies, SOCAR, and a couple of Chinese companies. By the way, these are the biggest companies in the world in terms of petroleum. Okay, so what do you need to have to go further with your studies? First of all, you have to consider the finance situation of yours. So you can get scholarship, which is the best practice. If you cannot get this, you have ability to to get research or teaching assistantship. Specifically in China, it's much easier because there are a lot of places and that has been given for the scholarship. I guess in 2020, it was like 400,000 students that were studying in China from abroad. So also there is a chance for a part-time work, but for most of the cases it is illegal. So to be able to work part-time, you have to go only with your specialization, with your major. For example, if you are a geophysicist, you can go for the Beijing Geophysical Company, which is quite good company. I've got a couple of friends that are working in there right now. So what you need is IELTS or TOEFL. That is for sure if you consider study abroad. And some certificates as well. These are the stuff that you can get from the courses. You have to make your own research plan for master. Well, you don't have to, but it's better that you have it. You will get more chance to do so. If you have already published a paper in as well as in international journal, that will be very beneficial, and so you can make sure that you can get the relevant scholarship or assistantship from professor. You have to write your statement of purpose or cover letter depending on what university needs. You have to get your recommendation letters, and these are related to your professional relationships or academic relationships. And you have to build up your final CV based on all of this. And what you need, in fact, during your bachelor, you better find a part-time work or get at least a research experience. So based on that, you can build up your own the other documents. So this slide was originally purposed for the geologist. I will just probably skip it. But overall, these are the directions that we need to consider right now, because if you think to go to China, and this country is really mathematical, technical related, they really focus on this kind of subject. So basically, when you join the bachelor in China University of Petroleum, you have to study Java and C++, as well as a lot of time you're gonna spend on numerical analysis and this kind of subjects, physics and stuff. As I already mentioned, you have to consider math and physics to be able to fit into this country that is technically very well developed, as well as you have to get some experience with leadership. Most of you probably already have this kind of experiences, leadership and teamwork, as you are already in SPE. And this is actually a big benefit for you. Just to mention that you have experience in SPE, because China University of Petroleum has a really big space for specifically for SPE and other petroleum related societies. You better have to be able to know some coding. You know, the actual one is the Python. It's not that hard if you want to just begin from it. I mean, I think the Python is a good way to start. Also, you have to know the data analytics and statistics, not like no, but you can choose it for your further research. I mean, if you will do research, you're gonna go through these steps anyways. Artificial intelligence and ML is everywhere now, so you have to have at least a brief view of what is this. You have to consider all of the technological advances in your subject, like actual right now, what is going on, what kind of tools you can use. Not, you know, like I know in our universities, most of the books are like from 1960 or something, but you have to be aware anyway. And all of this knowledge should be basically based on your professional knowledge and skills. So you just have to spend 80%, 90% of the time focusing on your major. Then you have to get all of the other stuff to be able to get a competitive place for work and study right now. So in modern society, it's called T-shaped person. So briefly going through my study experience and China University of Petroleum, I will say some, you know, the stuff that I've seen in there, but I've never seen in Azerbaijan during studies. So, for example, the courses, how they go. They invite a professor from the top university, like from Australia, from Canada, University of Alberta. There was some top researcher engineer from Schlumberger, US as well. They come with a really big experience, not only in the science, also in the life, and they just give you good information on what you can do further with choose your research topic and stuff. And the course, the length of the courses is, in my case, in case of geology, it was like, okay, they invite the teacher and they say, okay, you have to teach here for 1 or 2 weeks, depending on his, you know, credits related to the course. And courses can go up to 8 hours a day, like a full working day. So you start your course at 9 a.m. and then you finish at 6 p.m. And what I like about it is that you can fully focus on your subject. So you do basically most of your homeworks at the university. I mean, even during the classes, they bring you practice on the real data from the real fields. For example, in our case, most of the data came from Gulf of Mexico reservoir. So yeah, and as well, for some courses, there are field trips and company visits. So for your research, there are several options you can do. You can come here, I mean, to study with your own topic, and initially you have to go this way. I think there is a question in chat. It's 8 hours. How much time disturbed in terms of lessons, free time? Okay. Actually, it's not that much. Okay, if it's mathematical related subject, it's a lot, and you cannot, eat all of this information just in one day. But if it's another kind of subject, like in our cases, it was like laboratory experiments and stuff, it's really interesting. You go, experience the, I don't know, microscopic measurements, you write the stuff. It's like a working. And what is good about this one is that after 1 or 2 weeks, you have only one subject to learn. During these 2 or 3 weeks, you focus only on one subject. Then you finish this subject, and after a couple of days, you are ready to go with your exam. So basically, the advantage of this is that you don't forget what you learned in the beginning, like it is in our system. Because, okay, if you start the subject from September, then you go to December, and in January, when you give the exam, you forget everything that you have learned during September and October. So that's the advantage of this kind of approach. So going further with your research, okay, anyway, you have to have your topic and data in the beginning just to write your proposal plan. The second option you can go with is the joining team of the researchers at the relevant college. In my case, it was the College of Geology. They spend a lot of time and efforts on specifically geology and petroleum engineering. The actual topics are right now is unconventional reservoirs, and they even have another college called Artificial Intelligence College. So you do everything related to the artificial intelligence and related to petroleum. There is something in the chat. So you don't have 6, 7 subjects, just take one subject for 8 hours. Yes, exactly. Sometimes, in some cases, like some teachers like to go with the, in our case, it was numerical analysis. This subject went 6 months. This kind of subjects is really hard to learn, like 8 hours per day. So they decided to go with this kind of subject like this. Also, they have like Chinese culture, Chinese language, this kind of subjects, they go as the regular subjects in Azerbaijan universities. So yeah, basically it's a one subject for 8 hours.
Orkhan, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes, you mentioned about the spending the time schedule 8 hours a day. So that means there is no possibility for part-time job in the company related to my specialty or something like that.
Actually, it's not 8 hours a day. It's up to 8 hours. For the most of the cases, it was 4 hours, 5 hours per day. It's like 8 a.m. to 12, something like that. And working in the company, it's really not easy in China because of the competitiveness. There are a lot of Chinese students with a very strong background that are studying in the same university, and you will feel it when you come to university, and there are 2 billion people almost, and the competitiveness, you have to understand, it's really huge. So it's not that easy. And for the most of the cases, you have to know Chinese language as well to be able to work for a company. But if you're gonna go with a scholarship, I will come to this one later. You don't have to work at all. You just can focus fully on your research, and you can do research for the company. As in my case, there was a company called Sinopec. It's one of the biggest petrochemical companies in the world, by the way, and they provided me with the data with well log data from 500 wells and seismic and everything that you need to do. So I've joined the team of researchers at our university and College of Geology. So I've done my research in there. Yeah. So you have several options. As I mentioned again, you have your own topic and date in the beginning, and you can go with that one if you want, or you can join the team of researchers at the university, or you can research for a company if you are able to get internship at the company, for example. Yeah, to get internship, you have to change your visa overall. This is not the only study visa. This is actually internship and study visa. You have to change it. I know a person who've done it before. So it's not a very easy process. So talking about the finance, the best option you can go with is the Chinese government scholarship. I will give the links at the end of this presentation. Chinese government scholarship provides you with 3,000 to 3,600 Chinese yuans per month. 3,000 is when you get the scholarship for 10 months, for 12 months. And if you want to get it for 10 months, you're gonna get 3,600. So the case for this is, it's enough. I've even studied in Beijing, in one of the expensive cities of China. It's like 20 million people in one city. You actually don't feel that it's 20 million people because city is really big. It has 400 above 400 subway stations in there. So the logistics is really good in there. And what is good about Chinese government scholarship? It's stable. It means it doesn't require you to work really hard and to be like perfect in everything to be able to get the same amount of money. As well, they are providing you with the money for living expenses. They pay for your dormitory, they pay for your tuition fee, and if there are some internships provided from the universities, they pay for it as well. The second stuff is the university scholarship. So university scholarship is, if you compare, I will compare everything to China government scholarship over here. So it is unstable in terms of, okay, if you show a very bad performance during your studies and you have university scholarship, then your scholarship level can drop. There are 3 levels. Okay, category A is I think is 3,000 per month, or 2,500 per month, something like that. And there is a type B university scholarship, which is you only get tuition fee and dormitory fee, and the last one is pays for your tuition fee only, not the dormitory and not the living expenses. So it's kind of unstable and lower. So you have to go really hard if you get that one. Similar situation for Beijing government scholarship, or whatever city you're gonna go to study, you have your in place municipal government scholarship. that can provide you with the money, but their requirements are tough. For example, Beijing's government scholarship requires you to have HSK4, which is a good level of Chinese. It's like IELTS, I don't know, 5 for Chinese. And the last option you can go with, as well as you can go with it parallelly, you can get the salary from your professor. You sit in the office from 9 to 6, except the time when you have classes, of course. And you can get up to 2,000 yuan, which is 500 manats, around that one. Yeah. And for this one, you can actually get more or less. It depends on your professor, his rating, you know, and his projects that he is taking right now. Yeah, I already mentioned about internships. So here are some random pictures from China. So on the left side, you can see it's me standing and behind me, it is a really big, you know, factory where you can see all of these cores from, you know, it is a well core actually. And there is a robots that you have, you know, control panel in this room. You press, okay, I need core from this well in this and this steps. So this robot goes, finds it, bring it to you so you can get and analyze it. So when not only for China, but as well in other countries, if you go to study abroad, you will feel anyway this, you know, the patriotic feeling that you have to represent your country. In our case, the materials you can see on the top right corner in the photo are provided from the Embassy of Azerbaijan in China, and I've represented their Azerbaijani culture. And for most of the countries, you know, within the university, they do this kind of stuff, like cultural festival. So it's like you are spending a full day just to represent this stuff. By the way, I forgot to mention one more thing, that in most of the cases, so for example, program for geology and geophysics and petroleum engineering in our university was a 3 years program. So you spent full 1 year on courses only, and then you spend your second and third year focusing on your research only. So it's like a full-time, full research. You are fully involved into this. You are working with a team. So it goes this way. In Azerbaijan, I think you have only half year to done your master's. So as a result of this one, I think I wrote my master thesis in the length of 165 pages or something. So yeah, on the bottom right corner, you can see it's Chinese. They bring us to the city where there are a lot of petroleum stuff. It's like a Baku, but for China, in terms of having a lot of petroleum, oil and gas deposits. And so here you can see we are learning some Chinese, you know, cultural calligraphy just to write this kind of characters. Within the university, there are a lot of, you know, activities, a lot of buildings. The campus is really big. If you walk straight, you're gonna walk for 15 or 20 minutes to go from one side of the campus to another side of the campus. And within that campus, you have a lot of buildings. One is related, for example, purely for geology. Another one is purely for, you know, as I said, artificial intelligence in petroleum-related stuff. Also, there is a enhanced oil recovery and stuff, and the other things. As well, you can join different societies. There are a lot, by the way. There are also stuff, in Soviet Union, they called it krushki. And so you can join like people who does the playing the guitar, or who is willing to sing, or who is willing to build robots. By the way, every year in our university, we have robotic competition. They bring robots, they play, I don't know, kind of a football or something with these robots. They shoot at each other and stuff. I mean, they like to do these things. Yeah, so on the right side, you can see they bring us to Panjin, one of the Panjin's oil fields. And they allow us to go to the lab to see how it works, how it goes, what kind of technologies they use. And on the top left side, it is a society that we've built by the Innovation Academic Platform. I was a member of that one. And we have, like internal seminars and conferences and stuff. As I've mentioned before, the SPE is a very huge part of our university. So there are a lot of activities that you can be a part of. So you can build, this kind of oil rigs that they are gonna like check it and under stress, how it goes, how it is stable under, this kind of stuff. And I think you had it in your university as well. It's PetroCup, yeah, and Future Petroleum Engineers Conference Forum, and the other kind of activities. Like SPA is living really nice life. I mean, SPA members in there. So thank you for your time. And by the way, these are the links that you can go with. So for China Government Scholarship, this is the only official link that you can go with and check what kind of universities accepts China Government Scholarship. The best way to get the Chinese Government Scholarship is go through our Ministry of Education. I've won this 2 times, one for master and one for my PhD studies that I'm doing actually right now. But the actual problem is they don't open the borders for international students because of COVID since 2020. And yeah, here is the website of our university where you can contact the admission and stuff. And if the website is in Chinese, you can just, on the top left, I think there was like switching languages. So you can go with English or Russian. Better go with English because Russian website is outdated. So that's pretty much all from my side. Please feel free to ask me any questions that you want to.
Actually, I have several questions.
Yeah.
During the presentation, you told about importance of the certificates, and I'm wondering about what type of certificates should be like. Can you just say the examples of certificates that matters more for application?
Okay, in my case, I've used to be in the team during the SPE. It's called Symposium Life of Field Development, when we just simulate the petroleum production and exploration and stuff. Our team won in there, so I've got the certificate. And this kind of certificates was like was a good advantage to be able to apply for the university. In your case, I'm pretty sure you guys have a lot of this kind of stuff because you are the members of SPE, so you have to have them.
Yes, and about research plan. So where the bachelor student in Azerbaijan can start to do a research or make some research plan, how to start, where to start.
Okay. The best platform to do this is the university, of course. You just contact the professor, just ask what he's working on. Like in my case, I've joined my professor of crystallography. He has done some research related to understanding the geometry of crystals in the rock. So we just went with him, and I've helped him with the coding and stuff in there. So he wrote me a good recommendation letter that, of course, I've used for studies further. As well, you can go with the eiLink, the place that I'm working in. You just can write email if you are interested in some topic, and if they accept you, you can go with that one. Also, if you are able to join National Academy of Sciences, that's also a good option to do your research in there. I mean, in fact, you don't have to have a very strong research background when you apply for a master, because everyone understands that you are on the bachelor, right? But you have to write your own research plan for sure. I mean, you can go without the research plan, but you will be able to get a better conditions if you have a research plan. It's not a big deal, actually. You have to write like 5 pages, 6 pages of, okay, you you can see your topic is this and this, and you write that you search for the internet for the methodology. You just write, okay, I'm gonna do this research based on this methods, and that are already mentioned in this and this papers, and these are the conclusions that I am thinking that I will get. And at the end of the day, you can show them your, the plan, the timing plan, and you can go with.
And also this coding and stuff, is it possible to learn them in China in the university?
Of course, of course. It is in China University of Petroleum. You are very free to join any class anywhere. If you are the student, you just ask your international, admissions manager to, okay, what kind of classes you have, where you have, and you just go with that one. You have them in English as well as in Chinese. Most of them are in Chinese probably, but this is coding, so it's probably not much hard to understand it in English.
And the last one is, how can student live in China without Chinese language? Like,
you actually cannot live without Chinese language, but the university provides you from the first day when you come to there, you just learn your Chinese language and basic stuff for communication. Like, for example, if you go to buy something, they teach you, okay, give me this for the lower price with the discount or something. That they love this stuff. And as well, you have to know how to call taxi, and I don't know, and, just basic things that that you need on the street. And that's pretty much enough for you to build a society in there. But you don't have to know it a lot, because the dormitory that you are living in is full of international students. There are no Chinese people in your dormitories. There are 3 buildings that are full of international students. So basically your communication language focusing on English and Russian mostly.
That's all from my side. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you too. I guess there's a question from Hamzat. Do the university provide you with internship opportunities, or you should find it by yourself? This is a good question, actually. University, actually, if you get Chinese government scholarship, they have to bring you, they have to do for you, you know, the stuff like doing a field trips, going to the companies, to other provinces, to other cities, go for even the Great Wall of China and stuff. But if you want to get with the strong internship that I've mentioned, like changing the visa and stuff, of course you have to apply it for yourself. But the company comes to the university, they introduce themselves, they talk about the opportunities that they can give. They say, okay, let's have like, we have 5 places. You give the interview, you do the interview with them, and then you get the relevant position at the company depending on their demand of, you know, major. If they need geologists, they get geologists and the stuff.
I have a question, Orhan Bey. First, thank
Yeah.
you for the presentation. Is the scholarship enough to cover the daily expenses, or there's any additional requirement? I mean, in terms of the expenses.
Well, if you get Chinese government scholarship, you don't have to do anything else. The scholarship is fully enough. Even at the end of the day, you can still have in your pocket like 1,500 yuans that you can keep. For example, as most of the students done, they just collect the money and go for, you know, trips to other countries, to, you know, Bali. It's very cheap from China to go to Bali and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty much enough. Thank you, Hamzat.
Thank you. And one more question, please. You mentioned about the stages. I mean, the applying the government scholarship and etc. And besides the getting the visa, what are the most difficult parts that the students can be? I mean, maybe the Chinese government have some specific requirement for the Azerbaijani students or something
I
like
mean,
that.
if you get your admission, okay, let me go with the stages. You talk to the, okay, first best option is to go with the Ministry of Education of Azerbaijan. If you apply through them, then they provide you even with a ticket for flying. So you don't spend even 1 manat on, like, from your own money. If you are not able to do so and you are applying for the scholarship by yourself from Campus China website, then you first of all, you enter the site, you read what kind of universities have this subject, and they are acceptable with the China. They are in agreement with the China government scholarship. Then you go to that university, apply to them, contact them, and they give you admission. They say, okay, I will admit you, and you can go further with, you know, like kind of a scholarships or whatever you want to win. The biggest priority is, again, the Chinese government scholarship. If you are not able to win that one, then you apply further for the other types of scholarships. So the most difficult part, I mean, the visa is not a difficult part. You get your admission, like 99% that you're gonna get your visa. And because, I mean, it's not like in Italy right now, because from Azerbaijan, Italy also understand that most of the people goes to Italy just for the living, for immigration purposes. Yeah, in China, it's easy. The most difficult part is to get scholarship.
All right, thank you. And you mentioned about that we can apply through the Ministry of the Education of Azerbaijan, but
Yeah.
as far as I know, our ministry has the specific conditions like then you go to the study in the master, you should come back and work here, the something like that, or otherwise you should pay all the expenses this ministry pays for you. Is it true or?
No, it's not true, because when you apply through the Ministry of Education to China, you are still applying to Chinese government scholarship. So the China pays you the money, not the Ministry of Education. The only thing that Ministry of Education covers is your flying tickets. I mean, till now it was like that. And you don't have to come back to work in Azerbaijan. You just go. You just have to pass the basic Ministry of Education, that limits. You have to have at least 400 points from the government exam when you go for your bachelor in Azerbaijan. Then you have to have like IELTS and stuff, and research plan, and everything that I've talked about today. So you don't have to come back and work here. You can go wherever you want.
Thanks a lot.
No problems.
And also, these students who enrolled this year and maybe last year and will enroll next year, they are now sitting in Azerbaijan and can go to China?
Yes. Unfortunately, it's like that. Actually, myself as well, I just came back here for 1 month. I mean, I plan to come back here for 1 month. So it's been 2 years that I cannot go back to China because of the COVID restrictions. So you have to consider this if you want to really go abroad and the China is closed. You have to think about this one too.
So in case if I apply this year, so that means the China will not me enter, but as an alternative, it will provide like remote education, yes, online education.
Yes. Alternatively, they will provide you with remote education, but you cannot know for sure that you will not go to China. Like they can open anytime. They can say, okay, from the September, for the guys who applied this year, for example, they can go. It's totally depends on their government decision. So you cannot say for sure if you will go or not. So it's really hard question to answer.
Oh. So is it effective, remote education? I mean, specifically in China?
Of course, no. It's not effective. It's not effective at all. I mean, the real life experience, the real talking to the teacher, you can ask anything you want. You cannot do this online, right? You cannot show your work that you've done on paper. I mean, you can do, but this is not really a nice way to have a conversation with the person, right? As well as the field trips and internships and, experiencing the Chinese culture. How can you learn Chinese language while sitting in Azerbaijan? It's really tough, and you have to have a really strong, you have to love China to be able to learn Chinese language while sitting in Azerbaijan. But in China, it's very easy. You just learn one word, you go to the shop and you just talk to the salesman hey man, I want this but cheaper. He just laughs and says okay. So yeah, real life experience, nothing can replace it. Any other questions so far?
So besides the academic life, I mean, during the living in the China, how the Chinese people, I mean, approach, interact with the Azerbaijan, what they think about us? I mean, is it easy to interact with them?
I mean, it's really easy to interact with them. They are gonna stop you on the way just to take a photo with you. Like they approach you like if you are a superstar or something. They really love to see the person from foreign countries. It wasn't that much before, so they are really interested in talking with you. They are always trying to talk with you in English just to practice their English. I mean, it's okay for them and for you as well. So yeah, anything else you want to ask? I think I've covered most of the questions. If something left that you don't understand, please go further in any language you want. We can talk in Azerbaijani or Russian, no problems.
And one last question from my side, Orxan Bey. In case, let's say, during the studying, I failed one of the exams, do the university provide the opportunity to, I mean, take them again or something like this, second chance?
Yeah, of
Because as far
course.
as when the studying here, it's quite difficult, yeah, complexity.
You can go with that one, especially if you have got the Chinese government scholarship, because it doesn't have a lot of requirements during your studies. It has higher requirements when you apply for that one, but during your studies, they don't, like torture you too much. So if you fail one exam, no problems. You can give it next semester or like in a week if they allow you to do so. It's very easy. And by the way, there are two ways to give exam. They have closed book exam and open book. Well, what is the difference? The closed book is basically the same examination system as in Azerbaijan. You don't have anything to use. You just write your exam. And the open book is you can bring your laptop, I don't know, phone, your books and your stuff, whatever you want, you can bring to your exam. You have 3 hours, you have these questions, do whatever you want. They are really confident about giving you a chance to give an open book exam because most of the questions are related to they are tasks. For example, you have to interpret this seismic with these wells. You have to tie them together. So you cannot do that one by reading the books only, right? You have to have a practice. You have to know how to do this. Otherwise, you are not able to spend like 2 or 3 hours to read a book to solve the task. So it works this way. In my case, like 90% of the exams was open book exams. So you just bring whatever you want, you do whatever you want, you just give them the paper at the end.
Wow, it sounds a miracle. I've never imagined in Azerbaijan universities.
Actually, there is a one teacher that I know in Azerbaijan, which is at Khazar University. He teaches, I think, computer science or something, and he does practice the exams this way. And the students really love this, but it's not easy again. I mean, the problem about these exams that you really have to understand the topic. Otherwise, you cannot write this stuff, you know, you just gonna get your 60 marks and go home. It's like that.
Thanks a lot. And maybe some students who already completed, I mean, pursued their education, I mean, postgraduates, can they also apply for the government scholarship, or there's a specific restriction? So, in the last year, you should must apply for the
No,
scholarship.
there are no restrictions. You can apply whenever you want. No problems. I mean, there are age restriction. I think it's 25 for bachelor, 35 for master. I guess I cannot say this one for sure. You have to check on the website of Chinese government scholarship. But yeah, you can apply whenever you want. During
Sounds nice.
university, you also can apply.
But what about the PhD? Is it any possibilities after the master to apply also with the same requirements, I mean, conditions?
Yeah, that's my case. So I've done my master and applied to the PhD with the same conditions, with the same, you know, like stuff that I had, plus additional certificates and research work and stuff that you don't do with your masters.
Great. Thank you.
No problems.
Oh, I think there is no other questions. Dear participants, please don't leave the meeting because we will have in 13:30 our next and last seminar about studying in Saudi Arabia. And now, Orxan Bey, thank you very much for sharing your experience. We really appreciate your time and effort that you put for us. So that's all, I think.
Thank you too. Thank you for your attention and for your time. I will just share the links that you need to have to the chat. Okay. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Have a good day.